Hey everybody, it's me again, Jay from Virginia. Um, I just got done watching Tim's new video over on Restore the Republic 76, and I'm truly humbled by what he had to say. But even though I'm humbled, I'm so overjoyed in seeing how God has opened his eyes to see the truth without a word. Actions do speak louder than words. Uh, You know, when Christ told us to let our light shine, he knew what he was talking about. Uh, People notice that you're different, that you're not, stressed out. You have a peace about you, and it bothers them, you know. They're like, they see all hell breaking loose around you, and you're at peace, you're like Christ asleep on the boat while, the storm's just raging, Uh, Not that any of us is perfect in any stretch of the imagination. My patience were definitely tried through this whole Google and YouTube garbage, But I knew the Father had a plan. It's always in His timing, and here we are. Uh, Tim really set some groundwork, showing that he truly sees and understands, what most people trip at. And I just thank God for that. But this video is going to be just a little bit different. Uh, I've always wanted to, prove that there's nothing new under the sun. And I want to bring in current events, back it up with scripture, uh, you know, truths that the Father has told us from the beginning that has been long forgotten, not taught. Everybody's, too busy, caught up with this, that, or the other. But I actually have a little bit of note, just little subject headings. Uh, we should strive to walk in peace with everyone that we can. That we're able to, I should say, because there are some real pieces of work out there. Let's just be honest. That hate everybody, hate the world, hate themselves, and just want to die. They're really messed up. But I dare say we've probably all been there at one time or another in our lives. Um, there's a how would you say it? Christ always told us to strive to walk in unity with one another, you know, and it applies to us just as well as it applies to the enemy. A house divided cannot stand, but we're to walk in love. We have got to remember none of us is called to judge anyone. We're all going to be judged. If you have a problem with your brother or sister or whatever, go to them. Don't put them on blast over social media. I mean, that's just stupid. I mean, what do you expect to get out of that? You're just going to make them mad and they're going to put you on blast. I mean, it's common sense. You know, go to them. You know, if you can settle matters, okay. And if you see your brother, messing up, make sure you've got the mote out of your own eye. You know, if you're living in a glass house, full of all kinds of sin in your own life, you have no right to go to anyone else and try to correct them. And, we all have areas that we struggle in. And I dare say we all will until we go to the other side. It's harder to walk out than it is to say. Yes, I'll give it that. But it gets easier as you put it into action. This video, I'm going to cover a lot of topics. I'll probably call it, putting it all together, something like that, something catchy. The main thing I want to get across is we have got to stop fighting and bickering amongst ourselves. God never intended for there to be 14 million different denominations, man. There is only one. You're either a child of the Father, Yahuwah, God, or you're a child of the devil, Gadriel, Satan, Lucifer. It's that simple. Nobody has the market on truth except the Father himself. And if you're giving your opinion, you're giving your opinion. Doesn't mean you're right. But be that as it may, there's a few things that people really need to realize. The church is the way it is because it was designed to be that way in the plan of the Father from the get-go. He knew that the church would become an abomination and a stench in his nose. He calls it the Nicolaitan model. One person, we call him a pastor, lording over a congregation. It is not God's model. Why is it not God's model, you ask? It's not God's model because God said He give every single person a gift to be shared with the body of Christ. We are one body but many members. We all have something to give and to share amongst the body. There's no big I, little you. We're all equal because, the Father is the head. And we need to walk according to that. Keep our egos in check. None of us is better than no one. Yeah, some people have a vice of stealing, lying, pornography, hey, whatever. If it wasn't for the grace of God, there go you. I was violent. I like to fight. But that person's dead anymore. Mostly. You just have to take control of your flesh and crucify it. Not saying that it's easy, but we have to. The church is the way it is because it was infiltrated by Copernicus back long ago, who was part of the Catholic Church. What did Copernicus do? He changed the calendar. He changed from the biblical calendar over to the Gregorian calendar. He changed the God-given Sabbath to the Sunday sun god worship day. Catholic Church is also responsible for old King James, who wrote translation of the Bible, who did over 5,700 word changes in the Bible, getting rid of the true names of God. That's why there's such a problem, and there's why there's a whole culture of these sacred namers and so on and so forth. There's just several things that has happened throughout history that most people do not know because, let's face it, they're lazy. They're not going to do no research. Uh, they just go with whatever someone says, but that don't make it right. You have these people through time. King Jimmy, he also worked with Darby, and that's where the rapture doctrine come from. The rapture doctrine is teetotally 100% made up. It's man's doctrine. Show me a rapture in the Bible. Was Noah raptured? No. How about Lot? Was Lot raptured? No. How about the Israelites? They weren't raptured. Ah, yeah, that's right. Everyone's going to say Elijah. Elijah went up in a chariot of fire. Wrong. Well, yes, he did go into a chariot of fire, but he didn't ascend into heaven. He was moved from one place to another. How do I know that? Because the Bible tells you that. If you read, at the time, Elijah was the big prophet on the hill, and Elisha had to start his ministry. Well, he didn't want to start because he was with Elijah. Well, God had to move Elijah out of the way to force Elisha to start his ministry. So what did he do? He sent down a chariot of fire and moved Elijah from one place to another. Now, how do I know this? Because at that time, there was a person who was trying to become king. His name was Jeroboam, I do believe. And in the book of Chronicles, we read where Elijah, the person who supposedly ascended in a chariot of fire, he wrote a letter to King Jeroboam to congratulate him to become king. And this is like 10 years after he supposedly went up in a chariot of fire. And then, of course, everyone's going to say Enoch did. Well, I know people get their panties in a bunch and all that stuff about the book of Enoch, Jasher, and Jubilees, but hey, it is recorded in those books that after God was done doing everything that Enoch did, he died. He now sleeps awaiting the promise of the resurrection, like all of our brothers and sisters do. I'm kind of kicking over sacred cows one by one here. And all this stuff is open to questions. Yes, we will touch on everything bigger in more detail as needed. I'm expecting to get a bunch of questions and probably a bunch of hate mail. But the truth is the truth. And, even though it doesn't sound pretty and it ruffles feathers, if it's true, I'm going to say it, bluntly, because Christ did, and he died for me. And if he can be tortured and killed in such a way, so be it. I will go the same way. Hey, you should be the same way. There's just so much that, and there's just so many directions and so many things that are broken. Let's put it that way. The whole way of living and walking according to the law and the prophets is broke. It's not taught anymore. It's scoffed at. It's ridiculed. You're made fun of. People hate you for it, call you a heretic. It makes you a peculiar person, doesn't it? You don't fit in. That's the way it's supposed to be. But I want to cover, hey, yes, the church has been infiltrated. The church is broken. They're holding on to things that were passed away and leading people down a highway that they shouldn't be led down. There's more lust and adultery and all that in churches nowadays than I dare say in the world and some places. There's more pride, there's more arrogance. Um, hey, don't shoot the messenger. You know it as well as I do. It's just kept quiet because nobody wants to hurt anybody's feelings. Well, the Father's not worried about feelings. He's worried about justice and righteousness. Uh, so yes, the church has been infiltrated. Um, but I don't know if I even. Let me go back to Enoch. I forgot. But anyway, his death was recorded in the Book of Jasher and Book of Jubilees. I'm kind of doing this off the cuff. I want to cover not only the infiltration of the church by, Catholic Church, because most people don't even know that, the Catholic Church looks at all the thousands upon thousands of denominations of churches, and they just think that they're just a branch of them, a Protestant church. Protestants come from, Martin Luther protesting against the Catholic Church, against, their view of saying that you can pray loved ones out of hell. Purgatory. Purgatory doesn't exist, guys. Uh, be that as it may, but that is why the Protestant Church become known, because they broke away from the Catholic Church because of that teaching. Um, the well, the Brothermen, let's put it that way, has to do with the secret societies. Let's put it that way. They all stem from the Catholic Church as well, through the Jesuit order in that. And of course, this all runs through the reborn nation of Israel that was all made to happen by the Bilderbergers, the Rothschilds. It was made by man. I'm going to ruffle some feathers right here. Everybody who wants to scream and yell, hey, we need to support Israel. Guess what, guys? This entity that we have today of Israel, they're not a creation of God. And I say that bluntly. They will be destroyed. Why do you think God in Matthew 24 said, hey, when you see all these things, the wars, rumors of wars, the earthquakes, the total carnage and destruction, when you see all these things going on, run away. Get out of the cities. And they're talking about over in Jerusalem and the land of the Bible, because they will be judged. I'll cover it later in another video, but, honestly, the Bible points out, that Jerusalem is Israel. Jerusalem and Israel, they are the whore, the mystery, the great whore of Revelation, Mystery Babylon. And the reason that is because the whore, there can only be one whore, okay? The whore is an entity or a kingdom that was backed by our Father, and they committed adultery against him. Well, what nation in the world is there that was backed by God and had a covenant with God and then committed adultery against God? And then God pleaded with them and judged them, put them in exile for a while. And then they refused to repent, therefore God divorced them. That's right. It's Israel. The northern kingdom, to be exact. And this is all right out of the Bible. We can get into it at a later date. This is right out of Ezekiel and Jeremiah and the book of Revelation. There are two daughters, and the wicked daughter that didn't repent gets a cup of indignation that is filled twice, because the southern kingdom repented but was more wicked than the northern kingdom. Therefore, God fills up a cup of wrath twice and gives it to the whore of Babylon, Jerusalem. But also, go over and read in your word the book of Isaiah and Deuteronomy, where God specifically says, hey, can a nation be born again in a day? Yes. And when he does it, peace will flow like a river from Jerusalem, and all people will serve and keep my Torah. All right. We know that Israel was born in 1948 by the Rothschilds, Bilderbergers, and all the Brothermen, Jesuits. Is there peace flowing like a river from Jerusalem? Is everybody over there keeping Torah? No, not by a long shot. You figure Tel Aviv is the most gay nation, or city, I should say, in the world. Tel Aviv is the modern day Sodom and Gomorrah. It's just that easy, guys. I know that it's going to make a lot of people mad. It goes against the grain of what people is being taught. Yes, these bigwig preachers, I can speak some names, but I'll refrain from doing that because they're just going to get mad and strike me down. Want you to send money, hook, line, and sinker to support Israel. Well, look into it, guys. You'll find out that 90% of the money you send goes for paying the people in the organization. If you send in $1,000, you're lucky if $5 goes towards what they're saying it's going for. I'm not being mean. I'm saying all this, bringing things together, and no, I'm not going into real big depth, but I want to pique your interest. I want to provoke you to do some research, to get off laziness and take an interest in learning the truth, because you've been lied to since you was born. We all have. If you're not 3 or 4 or 500 years old, guess what? You've been lied to from the day you was born. It's the truth. I mean, I've got several things, that I've got to cover. I mean, I have to say this because people are going to think I'm nuts. And yes, it tries even my family relationships, man. But remember, I have to say this. If you're having problems in your family, it's going to happen, because Christ said, think not that I come to bring peace, but a sword. Mother against daughter, daughter against father, son against mother, sister against brother, mother against wife. The enemies of a man will be their own household. It's sad, yeah, but I've experienced it. People think I'm nuts, but the truth is the truth. It separates you. It is a dividing line, guys. When God looks down from the firmament dome and sees his people being persecuted because they're standing up for what's right, he likes that. because his son was. They killed him. Are we better than our master? No. We we've got to learn that there is a lot going on. And I'm not talking about, the little situations that, they're creating, the false flags that are to distract the masses, the rioting, the gun control stuff, the hacking of this, the hacking of that, to make people, run and jump and nervous or whatever. It's all fear based. It's the Hegelian dialect, you know. Problem, they create it. And then the reaction happens. It's what they want. And then while all this is going on, the chaos of the reaction, they bring in the solution. That's the Hegelian dialect. But it also works with the Brothermen, their famous saying, ordo ama chaos, which is order out of chaos. They make chaos and bring order to it because they believe that's how the Father did it. But they were wrong, or are wrong. So let's get into let's get into some things that will make you think I'm nuts, crazy, weird, and all that. But I'm telling you right now, I'm not lying to you. If you dive into it and look things up, you'll find out I'm telling you the truth. The first thing is, whenever you're outside, start looking up. Look at your skies, not just the chemtrails. The chemtrails are all for a reason. Chemtrails are, one, it helps them hide what is going on above us. There's a lot going on above us, guys. They're hiding the real sun. They're now using a sun simulator that is bright white and will burn you fast. There's all kinds of lenses in the sky that they use to magnify the output of the sun simulator. This is all up there. The chemtrails help hide that. It also allows Project Bluebeam the material needed to project whatever they need to project with holograms. There's a track system above us that has been put in place. I know it sounds crazy, but we have been programmed with all the movies and sci-fi garbage on television, which, yes, I'm one of them people, I do not watch TV. Haven't in years and years and years. If you do, hey, I don't care. I do research from time to time and will bring up certain things off of the web to see what is being put forth to the public. But as for watching TV, no, I don't. Yes, I'm telling you, this stuff sounds crazy. There's a track system that's attached above us. There's even cities. Yes, I'm telling you, there are cities above us. I'm on the page where I really believe that these cities are not man-made. I do believe they were made by the fallen and their offspring. Because we're not the smartest people. The people before us, back in the days of Noah, they were 1,000 times smarter than we ever thought about being. Because they were taught by the fallen angels. They had all full access to the forbidden knowledge. Yes, there were giants in the land then, and so on and so forth. We'll get to that another day, but there are patents that you can look up. I urge you, go to the U.S. Patents webpage. Everything is right at your fingertips if you've got the internet, and look up the patents for track systems above the earth, buckyballs, sun simulator, let's see, telephoto lenses, let's see, what are those ones? Space elevators, carbon black, nanotechnology. There's just so much going on, guys, that, yeah, it sounds scientific and it sounds far-fetched, but that's what we're supposed to believe. And, the Father told us that men's heart will fail them. In other words, people are going to die when they see what's coming up on the earth. The fallen people are here. The Nephilim are amongst us. There are animal-human hybrids now. Yes, lizard people are real. Yep, he's crazy. No, let me back up a minute. No, lizard people freak out. But hear me out a sec. Everything here on earth is represented in heaven, except for one thing. What is it? Reptilians. Why? Let's go back to the Garden of Eden. As we know, God created Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve, Adam and Eve, man and woman. And there was a serpent in the garden as well. Long story short, everyone says that's Satan. Yeah, well, his name was Gadriel. And he was a fallen seraphim, the one that is considered Ha-Satan, the true Satan. See, Satan is a title. Satan means your adversary. Lucifer means light bringer. It's another title. Gadriel is the name of the head Satan. Well, getting a little deep, but it's the truth. But anyway, Gadriel, the Satan or serpent in the Garden of Eden, was a fallen seraphim that represented the reptilian kingdom on earth. See where I'm going with this? Everything he made would have a reptilian look about it. He had power over all the reptilians. And when God cursed him, that's when the war started. God told him, hey, that the seed of the woman would would crush his head, and that he would bruise her heel. What did he do? He started corrupting the DNA, or the seed of the woman. He sent angels down, the 200 at Mount Hermon. They mated with women. Their offspring were giants, mythological titans. And as it went down the road, they become smaller. That's why everyone believes that God the Father is a murdering psychopath in the Old Testament, because he told the Israelites to go and kill the men, the women, the children, the cattle. Everything had to die. Total genocide. And the reason he did that was because all the people that he told them to kill, all the ites, the Hittites, the Jebusites, the Girzites, the Amorites, all the ites, including the Philistines, were giants. They were Nephilim, Gibborim, and they were an abomination. They didn't go to heaven, they didn't go to hell when they died. Their spirits would remain on earth to wander forever until judgment. That's where you get your evil spirits and demons. Starting to see the truth that's been hid from us? But this is about the lizard people. Anyway, God judged those angels who fell. Well, they were locked up for 1,000 years. After 1,000 years, they were let go. They are now amongst us. Hence the reason we have such a technological boom. We are now back in contact with them, have been since World War II and a little before. But, you know, there are lizard people. The alien greys are clone bodies to hold demonic spirits. Yes, there are animal-human hybrids made with the DNA of mankind and with demons or Nephilim, what do you want to call them. And, you know, that's what's going to be coming upon the earth. They are shape-shifting. They have abilities that are beyond mankind. And the only way to fight them is to be covered in the blood of Yeshua, because we, through Christ, are stronger than them. But we can't stand against them ourselves. But our weapons of our warfare are mighty through God. We have to have the full armor of God. Full armor of God is found in Ephesians. Helmet of salvation, the breastplate of righteousness, having your loins girded about with truth, have your feet shod with the preparation of peace of the gospel, taking the mighty shield of faith by which you can quench all the fiery darts of the enemy, and above all, the sword of the Spirit, which is the Word of God. I know this sounds crazy, but the truth is crazier than fiction. No longer is the weather controlled by nature. Mankind has controlled the weather for years now. We did it in Vietnam. Anyone who has had parents or dads or uncles or whatever that served in the Vietnam, ask them about it. We made it rain. We did whatever we had to over there, weather-wise. And we've just gotten more and more technological advanced since then. We now have, HARP, the high frequency aerial antenna research program. In Alaska, which is one of the biggest, but they've actually built a new one in Brazil that is, I think, like 13 or 14 times bigger than it. And what does it do? It sends out frequencies that make storms bigger, shrink storms. It can direct the atmospheric rivers, the jet streams, if you will, to wherever they need them to be. They can send moisture where they want moisture, or they can dry out anybody they want to dry out. They can make hurricanes. They can make tornadoes. They've got technology to cause tsunamis. We have been told, about nuclear weapons. They do not exist. Think about it, guys. There is a person on the internet who's got videos out. I'll try to remember his name. That did a lot of videos proving that nuclear weapons are a hoax. He used to swim in the heavy water. He would eat plutonium and uranium just to prove, to everyone that we've been lied to. And the reason we've been lied to, because it's all about money. But yeah, the sky, the chemtrails, Project Bluebeam, let's see. Wow, I have some bad writing. I'm having trouble reading my chicken scratch. The agenda of pedophilia and gay and lesbianism. They're shoving everything that is ungodly down our throat. And if you stand for righteousness or anything that the Word of God says, You got a target on your back. And if you start living it, you're opening yourself up to a nightmare. People don't like you. I know. Oh, sorry. My cat come in. um, there is so much that we have been lied to and we do not know. We have got to get back to watching what's going on behind the scenes. Our elections. There's a nerve. I am neither Republican nor Democrat. I am, I guess, independent. Free is what I am. A constitutionalist. Guys, let's use common sense. We're on our, 50th president or 49th? I don't know. Heck, I don't keep up with it. But I challenge you, go and do some research and look up the relations of all of our presidents and the bloodline. You're going to find out that every single president we have had, from George Washington all the way up to the weirdo that we have now, Mr. Biden, I think it is. Yeah. They're all related. They are of the same bloodline. They all come from the lineage of King Edward, which can track their genealogy all the way back to Cain in the Bible. Who was Cain in the Bible? He was the first murderer, wasn't he? He killed his brother, Abel. And why did he kill him? Because his deeds were evil compared to Abel's. This is what we're dealing with, guys. Republican, Democrat, it's just another wing of the same bird. It's all about control. Voting is just a form of control to make you think you have a choice. But tell me, how did we have a choice when every single president we have just so happens to be related to each other and all from the exact same bloodline and lineage? If you believe that, I got some swampland for you. That's what I'm saying, guys. The governments are not for the people. They don't give a rat's butt about you and me. All they want is our money. They want us to keep working just so they can have the money to keep it rolling, to keep you down and keep them up. We are the slaves. We're born into slavery. The minute you were born and become a U.S. citizen and get a social security number, you are being sold on the stock market. Don't believe me? Go to one of them stock things on the internet and put in your birth certificate number. And guess what? You'll find out that you're a stock. It's been a while since I've looked mine up, but last time I looked myself up, I was worth, it was like $5.7 million, man. I was like, yes. It's a shame I can't go buy a car or something, but I could really use one. But this is the truth of what's going on. And I mean, we can be light about it, but let's get serious. I'm not lying to you guys. From HARP to the frequencies that's being sprayed all over us, to one of the biggest and, in my opinion, most evil inventions on Earth is CERN, the Large Hadron Collider. It's now controlled by the new computers put out by Geordie Rhodes, and they're scary, man. They literally, you can look this up. Look for the video where it says, just put in, CERN says they've opened the bottomless pit. Who says that? Now, what are they talking about? Revelation chapter 9 starts out, it says, and I saw a star fall to heaven, and unto him was given the key to the bottomless pit. And he went and opened it. And as he opened it, smoke filled the air. And the sun and the moon were darkened. And all these beings come up out of the bottomless pit. Locusts like scorpions, with faces like man and women, and hair like women. And I mean, these are animal-human hybrids, guys. And CERN is the instrument that will be used to open it, because it functions on a quantum scale. They use quantum computers that uses, it don't use data. It uses, well, now I'm not going to go into it. It'd take me too long to explain, but look it up. Quantum computers is what controls CERN. Google has one. There's only a few of them in the world, but these things are demonic. They are opening portals through the veil, allowing demons and spirits and angelic beings into our world. That's why I said, look up. You will see demonic faces and even demonic beings at times in the skies above you. And if you are on the right path, and if you are in right standing with God, you will feel them. And they'll feel you. We're not in Kansas anymore, guys. It's time to stop playing games. You know, things are serious. We are at war. And everybody's out playing patty cake. Where are the soldiers of God? You know? We've got to get serious. I mean, they're starting a new world order. You're going to see the beast come out of the bottomless pit shortly. Because, let's just face it, the Antichrist is not Obama. He's not Trump. He's not Biden. He's not whatever person you want to name. It tells you in the book of Revelation that the Antichrist comes, well, the Antichrist beast, same thing, comes out of the bottomless pit. So that tells you he's not flesh and blood, guys. He's a Nephilim. His name is Abaddon or Apollyon. Now, who do we know that had that name? Nimrod. I thank Rob Skiba for his teaching on that. There are many people I can source for that has helped me in my stance and my understanding. That's giving me a nudge whenever I had got bogged down. But Rob Skiba, he's great when it comes to the biblical flat earth, biblical cosmology. He's done phenomenal work. Rob Skiba. Go to testingtheglobe.com. It's wonderful. I like TorahFamily.org. They're another phenomenal one. Let's see. Boy, I tell you, put yourself on the spot. You just can't think of nothing. I was trying to think of that other real good one. 119 Ministries is good. They got some good stuff out. I don't believe everything that they believe, but they've got some great information. And that's with everyone, you know. We just need to come together. And, as long as we believe, the main thing that there's but one way to be saved, as long as you believe the same, we're good to go. We can stand in unity together. We just have got to start allowing ourselves to hear what the truth is, instead of immediately dismissing it and being defensive and dismissing it, thinking that they're crazy, they're nuts. The truth is the only thing that sets us free. And I know that, this video is crazy. It's covered a lot of things, and yeah, I may have left a lot of loose ends in it, but I've kind of done that on purpose because I want to force you to look these things up. Especially about, the jab, the whole V thing. I want you to research the Brothermen, the whole Catholic Church connection. I want you to look up the Sun Simulator, CERN, Project Bluebeam, Project Paperclip. There are just so many things that we need to start paying attention to and coming together to stand against and spreading the word, because no one man can do anything about it. We have got to come together in unity, because in unity is where we stand strong. So I'm not going to put any more on you. I could go on and on for another hour of things that you should look up. The demonic sigils that look like electrical schematics and so on and so forth. These are all truths. We have got to allow ourselves to learn and to see that the truth is much deeper and wider than we ever thought. And the things that we thought were fantasy, there's truth. And I'm not here to scare anyone, but beware of the darkness and the shadows, because I'm telling you, in today's age, they move. And I'm just telling you, it's the truth. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against powers and principalities and rulers in high places. And whenever you get close to God, they know all about you. Because the closer you are to God, the more Spirit of God you carry with you. So you affect the atmosphere of wherever you go. So I pray everyone, please, if you're not right with God, get right. There's no one way to pray. Cry out to Him. He'll hear you if you're serious. Stop the game plan. Let's come together and stand and fight, because, guys, we're outnumbered right now. Hell on earth is coming. I like to be fun and jokey, but on a serious note, man, hell's coming. And they are ready and they are organized. And they want you dead before you can receive the gift of life from the Father through the Son. I pray this opens your eyes and triggers you to do some research. I'm dead serious. Yeah, I was trying to be funny a little bit in it and making light of some things, but I'm dead serious. The message overall, it's real. I'm not lying in nothing. Ask me some questions. I'll even be willing to throw up some patents, and if you can give me emails and all that, I'll send you paperwork and patents and information that I have. It's not a joke, guys. We are soon to see things that some will die when they see. How do I know that? Because the Father said so in His Word. I love every one of you all, and please give this some thought, prayer, and I look forward to your comments. Until next time, God bless you all.